this video we're going to talk about climax and overall melodic shape in third species. So first of all, climax has to be on a strong beat, but for the purposes of climax, strong beat means first or third. So notice when we talk about strong beat, or how strong is strong enough to count as strong in third species, we use two different standards depending on what we're talking about. So if we're talking about which beats must be consonant, the only beat strong enough to require consonants is the downbeat. Only the downbeat must be a consonant. Okay? But when, and similarly in checking for errors, we're concerned about motion into the downbeat. Motion into the other beats we're not concerned about. But for the purpose of a climax, beat 3 is strong enough to count as a climax. We can put our climax on beat 3. Either beat 3 or beat 1 is fine. Now, one of the interesting things we get in third species is the possibility, because we've got these, we're moving so quickly, we want to avoid hit and run climaxes. So we have the possibility of what's called an embellished climax. Take a look at the climax here. So, here's our climax. Here's our climax again. Technically, this note is used twice, but it's not really returning to a climax. It's really just kind of broadening out, expanding one single non-repeated climax. So we get to our climax, we have the neighbor tone away from it, we go right back to it. It's like this little lyrical moment. Spend some time, enjoy the climax, and then move away from it. So that's called an embellished climax. It does not count as a repeated climax. It is not inherent. The other thing you want to think about is achieving a good melodic shape. So again, subsidiary climaxes. Here we've got subsidiary climaxes on F sharp, then our main climax on A. We could almost think of a lower climax here. We don't have lower climaxes as our main climax in upper counterpoint. We can still notice when there's a salient low note we really land on in that way in the downbeat, and then back up to that register to close it out there. So we can certainly talk about subsidiary climaxes. I find it very helpful, though, in third species, to talk more generally about melodic shape. So certainly we want our big shape, something like. But with so many notes, if this is actually just a scale, and a scale up and a scale down, that's going to be boring. That's going to be dull. What we want is this sense that there's a big shape, but as we zoom in, there are these little undulations, these little ups and downs as well. So instead of that, I would rather see something like, here, I'll put it underneath, I would rather see something like, this. It has the same overall big picture shape, or almost a similar big picture shape to this, but it's just got a little bit more detail. Okay? So this, and you see that in these. You see some, actually, an unusual amount in this upper one of just kind of straight up and down. Here especially, you see more of this undulating that's good to have in the line. So there's a clear picture on the big, there's a clear big scale picture, but it's got that little undulation. Don't lose this though, don't lose that big picture. If all you have is undulation, then overall you're going to have a completely dead melodic line. So you want both of those things, the little scale ups and downs and the big scale ups and downs. Remember that variety and the value we place on variety conceived in almost any possible way when we're writing counterpoint exercises.